Hello, beautiful beings. This is Nickki. Welcome to another session together. Let's start today with a nice, long, slow, deep breath in. Just beginning to tune in and get settled. And let that go. And one more time, nice long inhale. Just releasing any tension you may feel. Taking a moment to get settled in as we begin this time together. Gratitude for joining, making this time a commitment for self-care for yourself. No matter what part of the world you're in, what time of day it is, it's always nice to just have a little unwind and relaxation. And the topic for today is about control. There's not a lot we actually control, even though we have this great desire to control many things. Really, it comes down to having the ability to be mindful of our thoughts, words, and actions. And we have 60 to 80,000 thoughts a day. So a lot of those are not conscious. They are just coming in at warp speed. And so much of what's happening in our lives is with us living in the past, worrying about the future, telling stories about what's happened once upon a time. And we're very rarely right here in this present moment. And what happens when we do that is that we create these stressors for ourselves. It's really funny because we're aware that we, unless we, depending upon our version of the world and how many dimensions we live in, and if we're in a multiverse or anything like that, most of us believe we can only be in one place at once. And yet, our mind is constantly somewhere else. How often are you at work and you're just thinking about when you get home? And you get home and then you're thinking about all the things you need to do tomorrow at work. It's pretty humorous. And it's a rarity then that we're spending time right here. So again, my gratitude for you to being right here, right now. And even in this moment, you may be questioning, wow, I have so many other things on my to-do list. Do I really have time for this? And you are where you are. So today, and this idea of control is really about beginning to accept what is. Not what we want to be happening, not what we wish was happening, not how happy we were a month ago when XYZ had happened. Just right here, right now. So when you're ready, let's settle in and I'll walk us through a guided visualization today. I think one of the interesting things to contemplate for today is that this is not about letting go of the need to control. It's about understanding our internal mechanisms and what really is the root source and cause of some of these fears and beliefs that we have that create that clinging and attachment to outcome, to wanting to morph and move the world in a way and people that isn't necessarily in our control, and yet it gives us a false, potentially, sense of safety. So today is just really about noticing. We're going to go in and we're just going to observe. Because when you actually allow some of these things to come forth and give attention to them, then interestingly, they don't have as much power over us. So, when you feel ready, you can close your eyes, and just get comfortable. We'll probably be here for 15 or so minutes. This is your practice, so whatever feels right for you. And as I mentioned, I'll guide us. Today we're going to explore more what we're feeling in our body. So often we are analyzing in our mind, in our head. And today we'll take a journey and explore how some of our interactions manifest throughout our chest, our jaw, our shoulders, our arms and legs. How our body attempts to communicate with us. So let's start tuning in to the body. Taking once again another nice, long, slow, deep breath in. And letting that go. And one more time. Exhaling gently. So as you're sitting here, begin to get in touch with the body and maybe where you hold stress. We want to really connect at this physical level because when we feel stress, it has a ripple effect through our body and can create dis-ease, which can manifest into chronic pain, high blood pressure, diabetes, all sorts of things. And so, as we really begin to connect, knowing that the purpose of this session, as I mentioned, is not to force ourselves to let go of any of these needs. That would just be another manifestation of the mind attempting to control, right? So this is really just allowing, accepting, letting go of resistance, and being with what is. So as you continue to breathe and feel through your body, maybe do a brief scan. We'll start with our head, noticing if there's any tension in our face, our jaw, our neck or shoulders. Feeling free to just breathe into those areas that might need it the most. Your chest, abdomen, Allowing each exhale to bring you to a more comfortable, relaxed state. Just melting into wherever you are. Your legs, your toes, your fingers. We're going to switch gears a little bit, bringing into mind a situation that you feel the need to control. Something you feel the need to be in charge of for how it unfolds. Wanting a specific outcome. Might be an ongoing situation with a friend, family member, colleague. Attempting to exert control over the outcome. Or maybe it's controlling some inner aspect that is a habit for yourself. Maybe it's about clutter or your finances or weight. And of course there may be resistance right now as we hear lots of different political views. It may be that your opinion differs from others and you create a need to convince someone else of your point of view. Whatever it is, can you be with this situation for a moment? And maybe begin to ask yourself, about whether you're afraid to live your life with the ability to improvise. Are you feeling the need to convince yourself and feel safe only when the future is completely orchestrated by you? Will the sun forget to rise tomorrow morning if you don't set your alarm clock? It's understandable that we have these needs and these desires. However, when they don't serve us, are we able to be open and expansive and consider that we have only control over our personal thoughts, words, and actions, and not actually the outcome of what occurs after we've taken those steps. Can we settle in and appreciate that we have done the best we can, regardless of what actually unfolds? And so as we sit with this experience, can you begin to connect with where in the body there may be some discomfort or some unrest? something that connects you, to let you know that the body is feeling what you're feeling. It may be a little stiffness in your neck, or a knot in your belly. Your arms or legs may feel restless. We so often, when this scenario happens, push these feelings away, not wanting to be with it. And yet, just like a child when he or she has been hurt, wants that attention, so too your body is simply asking for a little focus. And in doing so, maybe it will lessen the need and desire to cling and be as attached to the outcome. So for these few moments, see if you're willing to surrender to yourself, to the universe, knowing that while we never control the outcomes of anyone other than ourselves, we of course do have influence over situations and others. And yet it is ultimately for them to choose their own thoughts, words, and actions. So continue to breathe into where you're feeling this in the body. Taking a nice, long, slow, deep breath in. And gently exhaling. It might feel good to exhale into the spot that you're feeling this. Allowing some release and attention to flow right to the point of this controlling, holding area. So we'll continue this practice in considering the emotional awareness. We've identified this spot in the body, and maybe it's moving. Maybe there's a couple different thoughts swirling around. That's okay. Continue with the practice as best you can, staying with it as best you can, knowing your body and your limits and your needs much better than any of us can. So truly connecting and being right where you need to be right now. So now that we've gotten to this stage, can you name the feeling that's going on right now? You may have identified a stiffness or an ache, the situation itself. And yet, what is really happening underneath? Let's continue to dive just a little deeper. What are you feeling? When we begin to connect and name the experience, we can begin to melt the frozen patterns of old habits and conditioning. So name this area, reflect, and we will begin to release. Begin to once again breathe in deeply. And on our exhales, allowing this situation and these feelings that we've named to just shrink, to evaporate from where we've been, to move further and further away on each exhale, thanking them for showing up, thanking them for serving us, allowing ourselves to now create space for new habits and choices to form. And once again, we'll continue to reflect. This time, potentially you're in a more calm state. You may still be holding on to something. Wherever you are, that's fine. What we'll do is really unpeel one more layer and look to explore what it is that you need. Asking yourself, what do I need? This goal of control helps us feel some sort of security. So when we really get to the root, what is that security that you're seeking, that you're feeling is an unmet need? What do you need? And what can you give to yourself right in this moment to get you closer to meeting that need? You may also feel that there's another person or individual that could help you along this journey. And so what request could be made from someone else to help you meet this need? When we address these underlying fears, then we're able to take action. We're able to get a little more clarity and name and address what's happening, providing us the opportunity to ask or nurture ourselves in a way that maybe we hadn't explored or seen earlier. And so one of the things we can control is our actions. And this is a great time to explore what action we may take next to fulfill our unmet need. To choose our next action knowing that the outcome will happen as it will in life, maybe or maybe not according to our plan, and yet still willing to take that step. It may even be that right this moment, simply embracing uncertainty right now in this moment is the action, is the embrace, is satisfying enough for your body to settle in. Uncertainty can feel incredibly uncomfortable. And yet, knowing that it exists in every moment, maybe we begin to embrace it a little more. To start to edge closer to it and get curious about it. Create some wonder and awe around it, and not just a fear. Trusting that even though we're not setting an alarm clock, the sun will rise tomorrow morning, just as it has every day for hundreds of thousands of years. We may not always see it shining. It is doing its job. Can we do ours to take care of ourselves and be impeccable with our thoughts, words, and actions, and allow the outcomes to manifest as they will? So as we wrap up, feel free to take another nice, long, slow, deep breath in. And let that go. And when you're ready, coming back into the room, knowing that you've shared this collective consciousness with others all around the world, that we all have these experiences. We are not alone in these moments. We control our thoughts, words, and actions. The outcomes will result in whatever way they do. Allowing, accepting, breathing in to moments of uncertainty. Staying grounded in the present moment. These are all beautiful ways to maintain our composure, to release our stress, to show up as our most magnificent self for ourselves and for others. And you may even consider at this point a practice of gratitude or of reflection each day. 2 minutes, 5 minutes. It may be just after you wake up. Instead of hitting the snooze button, maybe you simply lie in bed for a few minutes and run through the beauty of what's in this world right here, right now, of what's in your life and the gratitude you have for it. Whenever we can have these moments of reflection and connecting more to our own body, we're able to create an expansiveness. Just as we go to the gym and work out, and that's not just a once in a lifetime thing, it's a practice ongoing. I invite you to create a practice. It may not seem like much in the moment. Its cumulative effects allow more space, allow more reflection, allow us to respond consciously instead of having our body and chemicals and neurons fire quickly and react. Something to consider, something to ponder. Either way, I honor you for being here today. I'm so grateful. Thank you and namaste.